Yo, what's up, New York Yankees fans? I am near Yankee Stadium at the Memorial Park. It's time to go back to the past again. But before we can get to the main event, let me show you about movies about a person who's been with a celebrity, such as an actor, the artist, the book author, all sorts of celebrities, just to name a few. Take Mark Twain and me, for example.
In the Disney Channel original film Mark Twain and Me, which was released in 1991, it's about a young girl named Dorothy Quick, who befriends with the famous writer Mark Twain, also known as Samuel Longhorn Clemens, during the final years of his life. In 1908, young Dorothy Quick meets her idol, Mark Twain, and surprisingly, the author finds himself drawn to Dorothy and begins to treat her like the daughter he never had time for. Their special friendship brings Clemens out of his brooding and regrets, and teaches Dorothy about writing and life and how the two are really the same thing. I watched this on the Disney Channel back in 1996, and I really love this movie about bonding. This movie, starring Jason Robards as Mark Twain, it is so delighted that this movie will cherish for years to come. I really wish that this movie should be released to DVD sometime in the future. But nevertheless, this movie served an awesome classic in the good old Disney Channel since the 1980s. And I loved how Mark Twain and Dorothy get along well. I highly recommend this movie for you to enjoy. If you love reading Mark Twain's books and so much more, then this movie is perfect for you. Enjoy it while you can.
Wow, she loves to be with Mark Twain as she loves reading Tom Sawyer and Huckleberry Finn. And what about the 1940s celebrity during the Holocaust and World War II in Europe? You guessed it, it's Anne Frank.
In this theatrical play, Anne Frank and Me, Nicole is practicing a dance for school dance with her friends. One evening, she took a walk outside and she was hospitalized. And she had a dream that she was in the Holocaust of 1942, as she met Anne Frank in Auschwitz. And together, they talk about their lives of what it looks like in the Holocaust. As Nicole read Anne's diary, she learns about Anne Frank's life and what it looked like during the past years. After all, when Nicole and Anne were in the gas chambers, they said a traditional prayer to keep themselves safe. Eventually, at the end, she woke up in the hospital bed and the Holocaust was proven real. So that Anne Frank and Me was a great theatrical play. It's like meeting a celebrity in style. I would definitely check this show out.
Ah, the theatrical show Anne Frank and Me is so awesome. Performed by the young, and of course high school students perform it mostly. There are so many movies with celebrities in it. Well, look at all the movies. I got plenty to work with. But now, it's time for the main event. Hello there, baseball fans. Agent Mike here, and welcome to another movie review here at Agent Mike's movie TV show Revewer. Look at me, I'm dressed up as Jack from the animated film that was released in 2014. And it was on DVD since 2016, and so is digital download and streaming. Now, do you know a boy named Jack who met with a baseball celebrity of the New York Yankees that since the early times? That's right. The celebrity's name is Henry, and in this animated film to review called Henry and Me. Wow. This is totally an awesome baseball movie about the New York Yankees. And look at me wearing this New York Yankees baseball cap. Just like Jack, who is destined to become a Yankee. He even loves going to the New York Yankees games with his parents. Now, in the movie Henry and Me, Jack loves baseball and he loved the New York Yankees, but suddenly he fell into a cancer-like and lost his hair. And then he has a dream going to a celebrity named Henry, which Jack had during the operation. And I'll get down with the details as I'm about to review this awesome animated film, Henry and Me.
It all started where an 11-year-old boy who's going on 12, named Jack, lives in a privileged life in upstate New York with his parents, as he and his parents attend the New York Yankees games and they're fans of it all the time. They love to play baseball and they love to have fun. As he and his father are called to dinner, Jack goes through a temporary state of anemia and drops the ball. His parents are convinced that something is terribly wrong with their son. At the hospital, where Jack has contracted cancer to the point where he is completely bald. As Jack is carted away for an operation, his parents stayed behind, and his chaperone, Nurse Cindy, voiced by Cyndi Lauper, sings a jaunty tune of Take Me Out to the Ball Game to no avail of lifting the boy's spirits.
Oh, I love that song, Take Me Out to the Ball Game. It is definitely a baseball classic, as it was heard during the 7th inning stretch.
Unhappy the hardships brought upon his newly contracted illness, Jack contemplates the seemingly final moments of his life until he is greeted by a guardian angel taking the form of a Yankees executive named Henry. At first, Jack is hesitant to watch the game while he waits, but unwittingly accepts Henry's offer, and the man takes him to an imaginary plane of existence where the 20th century is timeless. And of course, Henry takes Jack to a subway train ride to the Yankee Stadium. In the Bronx, of course.
Ever imagine going on a subway train to the Yankee Stadium? That's right, at the Bronx, of course.
Because illness has no existence, the Yankee players of the past are alive and well, and most of all, with the help of Henry's magic, Jack got his favorite clothing and his hair is back. And of course, Jack is ready to go with Henry to the past and to learn about the life as a New York Yankee. Of course, Jack meets with a girl named Sissy, who is a fan of Yankees too. And as Jack arrived at Yankee Stadium with Henry, Jack starts to count down as the operation begins. And of course, the Yankee Stadium is filled with memories. The animation quality to this movie is so awesome. And after all, it is beautifully animated to those of the fans of the New York Yankees. This is really unforgettable. Henry takes Jack to the early 1930s, where they meet with Babe Ruth, who is voiced by Chaz Palminteri, in a small field surrounded by corn. We all know the voice of Henry is Richard Gere. He convinces Jack to take the bat, and after a nervous fib about a peanut allergy, strikes out 3 times.
Oh boy, those baseball celebrities. Babe Ruth, whose real name is George, who teaches Jack how to swing a bat like a professional.
Of course, Babe Ruth is the guy who built the Yankee Stadium. And of course, he convinces Jack to try again with a little faith and a little hope and a little trust. I'm sure that Jack will make it through. Babe pointed Jack about the curveball. That's what the pitcher uses a technique on. Then Babe Ruth tried out his hand and see if he can swing very well. And he did. Just like a professional baseball player should. You'll make it.
Yeah, go Babe Ruth.
Despite the fact that the teammates laugh Jack at his age, Jack tries it again with a little rooting from the audience and seeing the curveball, and Jack knew that he's gonna take a swing, and voila! He made it, just like Mr. Babe Ruth himself, and running through home run. And of course, he even steals a base. Then, after some fun, Jack bids goodbye to Babe Ruth, which of course, Babe Ruth's real name is George, and promises that Jack will do well in baseball. And of course, Jack understood that he'll do fine, and then he boards Henry's car.
Other cool things about Henry and me?
Of course, the coolest thing about this movie is Henry's flying car. Jeez. This is sort of like Back to the Future kind of thing. Well, except that Jack and Henry are going to the 1960s Yankee Stadium in New York City. Wow, even Jack loves the flying car. Where to Jack's surprise, the original Yankee Stadium is still standing. In the Yankees locker room, he meets Lefty Gomez, Mickey Mantle, Bobby Mercer, and Thurman Munson. And Jack is forced into position on the team, this time to throw the ball from the pitcher's mound.
Wow! Jack is destined to become a great pitcher. Just like in the New York Yankees.
Once again, Jack's fans are all rooting for Jack and wishing him the best of luck. At first, Jack tries to get a pitcher's stance, and of course, he does not know, and he throws a roly-poly kind of pitch, which is hard to throw at first. But of course, they are convincing Jack to try to improve the pitching stance. When the actual game ensues, Munson encourages Jack to pitch the ball to Mantle, but he refuses by saying that he is not a real pitcher. Despite Jack's inexperience, Munson and Jack continued with an upbeat exchange of words until Jack's blood pressure starts to drop, realizing that the game he is fighting for is his life in the physical world. And of course, what I also like about this film, another cool thing, is a short montage where Jack appears to be heaven, as the song Time After Time was heard, that I love. Watching several moments of his life up to the hospital with other kids and making him concerned for his parents. And of course, this is filled with Jack's memories. When asking Sissy, the girl that he met on the subway train before, is that she too misses her mother and father every day, implying that she is too dead and the living is in an imaginary world as a spirit. Sissy and some other baseball kids bid Jack goodbye as they are all rooting for him. And of course, Jack's blood pressure's back and he's ready for action to be a pitcher and to make sure he strikes it out. And the pitch, the swing, and voila! He made it. And so that Jack wins the battle and the game, and all the Yankees players cheered for Jack. And he is so happy that one day he'll be a pitcher, and Henry is so proud of Jack for pitching and striking out. And I'm so happy that this is really the coolest thing. The old Yankee Stadium is gone as the current Yankee Stadium appears today.
Way to go, Jack! You're the greatest hero!
Automatically transported to the present, Jack meets with George Steinbrenner, and they make Jack a New York Yankee player. I like that message. And Jack magically becomes a Yankee player, and he really enjoys it, and all the players greeted him well, and by permission of the other team members, and encourage him to be a winner. Jack soon finds himself playing alongside Curtis Granderson and Hideki Matsui in a large-scale game against the nondescript Boston Red Sox. Jack quickly whispers Babe Ruth's words into Matsui, and later on, after the Sox pitcher tips the pitch, he bats the ball so hard it goes straight into the Hall of Fame. And the Yankees won the current game. After all, they are all grateful that the New York Yankees is a famous franchise in New York City, and it's considered the Holy Grail in Major League Baseball. As always, New York Yankees is filled with history, and they love baseball games here.
Hey, how about I go down to the baseball field and watch me pitch? Here we go. Introducing the pitcher, Agent Mike. There's Agent Mike, the pitcher, that's me, are about to make the curveball. Look at me.
Agent Mike tips the pitch and finding the right style to throw the ball.
Bottom ninth. 2 outs. 3 balls. 2 strikes. How you doing?
He's set to deliver.
Pitch.
Steal right 3! That is the game! That is the ball game!
No! Strikes him out with the curveball!
The Yankees win! The Yankees win! Alright! I did it! I struck him out! The Yankees won! And on their way to becoming champions! Yeah! Okay! Well, back to the review.
Nighttime falls, and Jack asks Henry if he can meet Joe DiMaggio, Roger Maris, and Billy Martin. But Henry suggests saving it for another time, and decides to have Jack return home. With an impending rainstorm reflecting the borderline of his decision, Jack is unwilling to return to his unhealthy life and considers staying where he can give his body all the health and exercise he deserves. After running off, leaving his cat behind, Jack is found by Henry in his chair and reveals that he is Lou Gehrig, who is another player stricken by disease. And of course, that's his famous speech shown here.
If you want to know what Henry Lou Gehrig is, here's a clip.
Today, I consider myself the luckiest man on the face of the earth.
And we all know whose Henry's full name is. Henry Lou Gehrig. He is a one-of-a-kind baseball player of the New York Yankees since the early 1900s. And did you know the Yankee Stadium is filled with history, and it's filled with baseball legends.
After Jack taking his advice that he should keep playing for his life, he finally gives in, hugs Henry, and waves goodbye. Lefty and Babe Ruth, who arrived just in time to see the boy leave into the real world. And now, back at the hospital, Jack wakes up to the joy of his parents, and to his surprise is visited by the New York Yankees baseball team. And Jack's parents knew that Jack would never go through this course again. Of course, he is very confident that his hair would grow back. After meeting with the team, Mr. Steinbrenner gives Jack the right of being called a New York Yankee with a pin, the same kind worn by Henry. Jack is very excited that he definitely will become a New York Yankee in his dreams. And of course, he's also visited by Babe Ruth and Henry. That Jack is very happy. Henry and Me is a terrific animated film filled with history and excitement. Check it out.
At long last, Mr. Steinbrenner gives Jack a Yankees pin to be called upon as a Yankee. That's why I love about Henry and Me. A terrific baseball film. Yeah! So in my final thoughts for the film Henry and Me, the animation is way much better with the digital richness. So in my final thoughts for the film Henry and Me, the animation is much excellent with richness and quality and the digital richness of CGI. After all, it's really a truly combination of 2D films, which makes it more high quality. My favorite characters were Jack and Mr. Steinbrenner, Henry, and even Babe Ruth. After all, I even like the nurse lady of the hospital and a young girl that Henry met. And a young girl that Jack met. Time after time. So on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm going to give this animated film an ace 9. Yes, it is. This is a must-see for everyone. So, thank you all for watching this animated movie review. Remember, I am always here and always around. If you got any questions, comments, or requests, or any baseball strategies you like, send me email at agentmikemtr@gmail.com. If you want to leave a question or a request or send me a note or even become a fan and view my videos, visit facebook.com/DragonAgentProductions. And you can subscribe and leave a comment or request through my videos at youtube.com/DragonAgentProd1. You can also leave a question on my blog at agentmikehub1.tumblr.com. So, this is Agent Mike, wishing you a great baseball game here outside the Yankee Stadium at New York City, and I will be seeing you in the movies and TV shows. Now, excuse me, I'm gonna go play some baseball here. Take me out to the ball game, take me out with the crowd.